is, and
It takes me a while to read this. Okay. Good evening. My name is John Reynolds, the interim chairman of the Sewer Commission still. And it is September 12th at 6:02. This is a regular meeting of the Sewer Commission. And Bill, if you could hold up your flag. And Dave, you want to lead us from Pennsylvania?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States
of America,
and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation,
under God,
indivisible,
with
liberty and justice for all.
All right, great.
Mr. Chair, I have, hold on, no, I can't get, okay, never mind.
Okay. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting of the Sewer Commission is being recorded and will be able to be found on the Lunenburg Access YouTube channel after the meeting. The following information is also provided for members of the public that would like to participate in the meeting remotely. To participate remotely from a computer, please use the link to join the public meeting webinar found on the posted agenda, or from a telephone, dial the toll-free number 888-475-4499 and enter the webinar ID 820-5953-7604. If you have not registered with Zoom, you will be asked for your name and an email address. Note, no participant ID is needed. Just press pound when asked. You'd think I would have that memorized by now, right?
I think you need another term.
So we'll do a roll call vote on the members. Brett?
Aye.
Dave McDonald?
Aye.
Mike Nault?
An aye for me.
And Mike Mackin's not in yet. So, and I for myself. So we have a quorum. And members of the staff, when I call your name, Bill Bernard?
I'm here.
Paula Bertram?
Here.
Okay, and Jane Radley is not with us tonight.
And Mr. Chair, Mike just joined.
Oh, good. Mike Mackin is Mackin. I'm sorry, Mike. Mike Mackin is present. Okay. Any public comment from the public?
Mr.
Dave,
Chair,
take it away.
I got a couple of things. One is on behalf of the Sewer Commission, I want to pass our condolences along to Jane for the loss of her loving husband. And I know that's a big loss. So our prayers go to Jane, and if she needs something, we're here for her. The other item I have is our hearts also go out to Leominster. As we know, they got devastated yesterday with the flooding, as well as other parts of Lunenburg and Leominster, Fitchburg. But Leominster has been pretty hard. So our hearts and prayers go out to the people. And I want to thank all the agencies and volunteers coming out, woodwork and restaurants and so on, helping. I haven't been up in Vermont, watched those floods. It brings back a lot of scary memories. So I wish I was there to help. I'm on my job in Pennsylvania, but my heart goes out to them. And last, Mr. Chair, tomorrow evening, and Paula, if you have that flyer,
Yeah.
there's a job fair going on at the senior center. I urge people, if they, I don't know if you can blow that up a little bit, Paula.
I can try.
This is being run by the senior center for people who have recently retired and want to get involved. And if you scroll down to the bottom, there's agencies there. It isn't just for the town. If you want to volunteer for any of those agencies at the bottom, you have a few like the Salvation Army. Paul, I can't see him from here, but you may want to read off some of those agencies.
So we have the Boys and Girls Club, the Alzheimer's Association, Beacon and Hope, Needs, the Town of Lunenburg, Habitat for Humanity, Discovery Center, and the Salvation Army.
So if any person out there, it don't have to be a senior, it could be, want to come out and check out these agencies, they're going to be there tomorrow to answer your questions. They're going to be at the senior center from 4 to 7. And I keep calling it the senior center, but it's changed to the Lunenburg Adult Activity Center. So I urge everyone at home, if you're looking to do something, and if you're on the verge of retirement, but just want to get back, I know Jamie Toll will be there from the town. So come on down and have a cup of coffee and see these people. And Mr. Chair, I know you're invited. I don't know if you're going to go tomorrow or not. Thank you.
Well, I think I meet both categories. I'm a senior and I'm an adult, so.
Well, senior anyways.
Okay, anyone else for public comment? No, any announcements from anyone on the board? No, seeing none, and I don't think we have anyone from the public. So let's move on into the next item, which is the organization of the board, which is the election of officers. So
Mr. Chair, I'd like to nominate John Reynolds as the chairman of the Sewer Commission for the year 2023 to 2024.
I can't hear you, Dave.
I'll second that.
I'll third that.
Okay, any further discussion on that one? Okay, let's take a, you were going to say something, Dave?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I want to thank you for what you've done, filling some big shoes. But you've done a good job as a chair, and I appreciate everything you've done for the town of Lunenburg, especially with the aqua money that we're trying to get from the Board of Selectmen to help our residents. So thank you for your effort on that.
It's a team effort, so I, thank everyone. All right, let's take a roll call vote on that. Mike Knoll,
Aye.
Brett,
Thank you for everything you do, John. Aye.
Mike Mackin,
Aye.
and Mike Knoll.
Aye again.
Oh, that's right.
Thank you again.
I scrolled through.
Dave,
Okay, so do I have to accept that?
I don't think you asked Dave to vote, though.
Oh, Dave.
Okay, John. I have those moments too, John.
Yeah, okay.
Really? I'm the one who nominated him, really?
Okay, so I'll accept the position. So
Thank you,
moving
John.
on to vice chair. Do we have any nominations for vice chair?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to nominate Brett Ramson for the vice chair. I think he's done a great job in your absence during the year. But I know Brett, along with myself, we've been very busy in our fields of trades, but I would be honored if Brett would accept that nomination.
I'll second
I would-
that.
Okay, we
I
have
would
a
accept
second.
that.
Okay. Motioned and seconded and accepted by the nominee. Any further discussion? Oh, let's take a roll call vote. Dave McDonald?
Me, really?
Yeah.
Aye.
Brett Ramsden
Aye.
and Mike Mackin,
Aye.
Mike Nault.
Aye.
Okay, the
Brett, thank you for,
vice chair is Brett. Thank you, Brett, for filling in this past year. And I look
Absolutely.
forward to you doing it again this year.
Happy to do it. Wish I could do chair. I just don't have that kind of time or ability right now.
Well, I can take a few meetings off. Don't worry about that.
and Brett, you're in training for next year, so get that.
Don't go out of your way for me, John.
Okay, clerk. Do we have any nominations for clerk?
Somebody else should nominate somebody.
Go for
I
it. Dave.
nominate Mike Nault as clerk.
Second.
Good. Second, okay. Any further discussion on that? Okay, let's take a, oh, was someone going to say something? No? All right, let's take a roll call vote. Dave McDonald,
Aye.
Brett Ramsden,
Aye.
Mike Mackin,
Aye.
Mike Nault,
Let me think about this. Aye.
and I myself. So moved, accepted. So we have our,
Starting lineup.
for the year. Okay, great. Thank everyone.
Mr. Chair, I want to thank Mike too for being the clerk last year as well. Without him, we wouldn't be where we are today. So Mike, thank you. You got the whole shooting the bangles on your shoulders. So thank you.
Hey, you know,
Nice
Okay,
shirt.
moving on to current business. I'm not trying to cut anyone off. I know that some people have to leave early, so I want to make sure we try to get through everything. Current business, the minutes, has everyone had a chance to read the minutes from the 8/29 meeting?
Yes.
yes,
Okay, would someone want to make a motion to accept?
Make a motion to accept?
I'll
Second.
second that.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll do another roll call vote. Dave McDonald, I'm using left to right on my screen, and sometimes you guys shuffle around a bit, so. Dave?
Aye.
Mike Mackin,
Aye.
Mike Nault,
aye,
Brett Ramson,
Aye.
and I for myself. The minutes are accepted. Okay, oil and water separator. We had this on the agenda last meeting. And we wanted Paula to go and look and see if she could get examples from Leominster or Fitchburg. Paula, why don't you take over here and let us know what you found?
Unfortunately, I haven't been able to find anything. Jake Fleming didn't have one to forward. He was investigating other departments. He did check with the plumbing inspector. They didn't have one. And I hadn't heard back from Fitchburg. So I did put together a draft. I again looked at several different communities and,
Right.
and how they do it. And I put together a draft that I think, at least for this first initial licensing period, will work. Basically, it is a form that shows that they have looked at the sediment, they've looked at the inlets, they've looked at the oil volume. And they're looking at erosion, looking at the outlets. And then if service is required, they would fill in the volume of oil that they remove, the hauler, and any notes. They need to be inspected at least once every 3 months. And then at the bottom of the form, it notes to immediately take corrective action if there's evidence of a petroleum bypass or a separator malfunction. So I'd like to utilize the form that I emailed out. I can share it if people need to see it.
Yep. Yeah, why don't you share it in case someone hasn't seen it? But personally, I think this is better than any of the ones we looked at the last meeting. And I can see this becoming the permanent one, maybe with a tweak here or there as we learn from it, but
Okay, so you can see it's just got the name of the facility at the top, the address, where it needs to be returned to. Our regulations require that the separator has to be pumped at least twice annually, and depending on results, the sewer commission can require additional frequency. But as I said, basically it's a yes or no. Have they checked all of these things, the date they checked them, who checked them? And then in the event that service is required, if any of these yes boxes are checked, volume of oil removed or notes and the hauler would be completed. The bottom explains the requirements and notes that the log has to be kept on the premises and available for inspection and per our regulations for a minimum of 6 years.
okay. I like it. I know you referred to it as a starting point. Does anyone have any comments or suggestions?
Mr. Chairman,
No, go ahead.
Go ahead, Mike.
I'm not having a complete grasp of the technical details. The form seems very straightforward and very user-friendly, and seems to capture the information that you're looking for. So it seems fine with me.
Okay, good. Any other comments?
Paula, can
I
you
have
blow
to,
it a little bit?
Blow up what?
Blow it up just a little bit?
Do you want the headers, the headings there?
Is that better?
One more.
Now I gotta move it over.
Now, who would be filling this out? The guy who's doing the inspected?
I would assume just similar to a restaurant owner, if the property owner has, someone on the, for example, we have a couple of car washes. If the owner of the car wash were to look at the separator, open it, has sediment accumulated, has the inlet, is the inlet clear, is the oil volume? So then if it were, then they would call the pumper, is the way I envision it working.
Okay, so if we approve this tonight, are you gonna send this out to the vendors?
Yes. No, to the property owners.
Oh, that's what I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah, to the property owners, yep.
Mr. Chair, the only thing I would ask is that it goes out with a set of instructions or maybe an exhibit, like how to fill this out. Unless Paula, you want to answer phone calls.
I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah,
But there's only 3 or 4 of them, so I have no problem answering phone calls either. And honestly, one individual owns 2 of them. So
Or
3 of them, so.
maybe an email to the event, to the customers telling them this is new, you know what I mean? Explain to them what we're doing.
Well, there's gonna be a cover letter. There will be cover letter and a copy of the regulations, because this is a new regulation. They've never had to be licensed before. So there will be a cover letter. There will be an explanation, similar to what we did for the grease traps. There'll be an explanation. There'll be a copy of the regulations and a copy of the form.
Okay, no, okay, that's good.
okay, and this is something that we need to vote on because it's a new form.
It's a policy change, actually. Yes, we gotta vote on it.
Yeah, well, right. So if someone wants to make a motion to accept this oil water separator inspection and maintenance law,
so
I'll make
motion.
Go ahead. I'll second that.
I don't think we had a first yet, did we?
That's
Or was that Brett? Okay. Okay. Any further discussion? No, seeing none, let's take a vote to accept this new form. See who's in the first lineup here. Dave?
Aye.
Brett?
Aye.
Mike excuse me, Mike Mackin?
Aye.
Mike Nault?
yes, aye.
And I for myself, the new oil separator maintenance log has been accepted. Great. Good job,
Good work.
Paul. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I finally got my laptop up, so I'm gonna try and leave my phone and go to the laptop.
Okay, great, great. You want us to kind of hesitate for a moment here, or?
Oh my God, he's gone.
Oh, there he is.
I see his name, but I don't see him. Oh, there you go. Good to see you again.
The wonders of modern technology.
Yeah, yeah. All right, the next item on the agenda is emergency response plan. And this sort of came about because Paula and I met with Albie, who's our maintenance representative for MP.
Mr.
And
Chair, I think Mike still has.
can you hear us, Mike?
I can.
Okay, great.
Can you
So-
shut off the phone now?
Yeah, there's
Because we're
an
echoing.
echo in the background.
Aluminum foil.
Done.
Okay, good, great, thank you. Okay, the emergency response plan, this came about, because I think it was about 2 weeks ago, Paul and I met with Albie, who is the MP rep for the Lunenburg pump stations. And one one of the pumps was down at Dana Street, which is our main pump. The majority of our sewage flows through the Dana pump station to Leominster. And while he was there, the second pump went down. Now, fortunately, they were both relatively minor. The first one was down because the check valve was clogged with debris. The second pump went down because there was a vacuum leak, a small vacuum leak. It was fixed very quickly. But it just made me start thinking, and Paula too, you know, our pump stations are getting old. I think we've maintained them pretty well, but what happens if two pumps go down at the same time? And we need to come up with a plan in the event that happens. So Paula, you probably should take it from here. She's done some research and has put together a lot of information, and it's something that we need to take a serious look at, because Dana Street, Leominster Road pump station, and the large Mass Ave, they fill up pretty quickly. Some of the smaller pump stations, Albie said, maybe could go a week if both pumps went down. But this is about trying to prevent, of an overflow of sewage.
So, as John stated, we talked about the need for an emergency response plan and things like, who gets called, what's the notification tree? If we did need to hire a vac truck or a pump truck, who would we call? Would it be Fitchburg? Would it be Leominster? What's their availability? If we had to outsource it, who would we outsource it to? Emergency management, if there were a sewer overflow in a public health situation, who would notify the public safety, road closures, things like that would happen in the event of a significant sewer overflow. So I went through a whole bunch of different websites and found a template for an emergency response plan for a sewer utility. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing because it's pretty substantial, but I'm in the process of working with Bill, and I'll be working with the city of Fitchburg and Leominster, as well as Albie, and all of you, to kind of develop it. But I wanted to just kind of run through the table of contents. So the table of contents, obviously the first section would be the utility information, resilience strategies, what are the roles of an emergency in the event of an emergency, where would the command center be, who would be in charge, what's the communication. So for example, reverse 911, if we had to stop people from utilizing facilities because of an overflow.
Bless you.
Our media outreach, a public notification template, which we do have for a sewer system overflow, but this would be more robust. Emergency plans and procedures, what are the core response procedures, mitigation actions, what are those? And then finally, basically a post-mortem on the event. So that's sort of the template that I'm following. I have filled out some of the information utilizing the maintenance plan and the information developed by Wright Pierce and various DEP sources. There are a number of forms on DEP that I wasn't familiar with that I'm now familiar with, that would need to be completed and what that process is. So that would be incorporated as well. So obviously this is going to take some time to do, but I just wanted you to be aware that it's in process.
So any thoughts or comments from anyone of the board or Bill, you too? I know Paul has probably reviewed this with you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I want to say this is a really great start. Nice job, Paula. Thank you for putting all the thought you have into this. And I'm sure it will take on its own changes as it goes, and it'll, like you said, a lot of work to it. But thank you for getting this started, and it looks good. I like what I'm seeing.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Well,
I'd just like to say, I think it's a great idea. I mean, if it does happen, just to have, step one, step two, everything all put into one. And obviously it just happened, so chances of it happening again, is
Right.
strong, I would say.
Yep. Mike Mackin, I think you were gonna say something?
Yeah, I mean, given the age of the system, and our need to, keep up with it, it's going to be a challenge, and having the ability to plan for the challenges. I mean, we can do as much as we can to keep the system up to snuff. But we have to plan for, the unforeseen. I mean, especially, given what happened yesterday, it was like, things happen that you didn't think of. So over planning is better than under planning.
Right. No, I agree. Thank you. Dave?
Yeah, the only thing I say is, Paula, thank you I know you've done this, a lot of different things with the lake management and stuff. My question would be, we do it, then what do we do with it? Do we send it to all the departments? Do we send it to the police department? I mean, where does it?
So it would be for anyone that's a key role. So for example, public safety, absolutely. DPW director, obviously. All of you as sewer commissioners, anyone who plays a role in the emergency response would get a copy. And similar to what we did with I have written an emergency action plan in the event of a catastrophic failure of the Hickory Hills Dam. And similar to that, we circulated it to all the public safety officials, and I would assume that we would do that same thing.
Right.
And then in the event that it needed to be updated, we would circulate any updates.
So with that, before we approve it, would you send it out to the department heads for the review?
Absolutely,
For
absolutely.
the final draft? Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. Thank you very much. Hope we never have to use it, but it's there.
Well, it was a bit of an eye opener when Albie said one pump was down and he responded. And while he was there, he happened to be there, the second pump failed. So, and as I said, good majority of our sewage goes through Dana Street. So what I'd like to keep this on the, the agenda for however many meetings it takes to bring it to completion. Is that all right with everyone?
Yeah, let's get, especially when winter comes up, because if we have a bad winter, what they're saying, we could have a couple of pumps go down easily with the generators,
Right.
I agree with this.
Yeah, you can see, I've started to fill in. There's a lot more work to do, but I've kind of gone over what our utility is. There is a chart showing all of the pump manufacturers, the size, the alarm telemetry, so that if we needed to, exactly what we needed to replace or what was there, we'd have that information. So there's a long way to go, but I will, as it progresses, I will send out drafts to you guys.
Mr. Chair, this is a good segue too, to have Matt Mackin think about going visiting the pump stations to get an idea of what we're kind of talking about in person, and have our vendor ride.
Right now, Paula, who is it that's going to be touring the pumps? Is it Wade?
No, it is the generator.
The generator, right?
The generator subcontractor is
Yeah.
coming tomorrow. Wade is planning to tour the pumps, but I did get an email from him today that he has not yet been able to go. Dave, to answer your question, I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is just the beginning. But obviously the town manager will get a copy, Bill, the sewer commissioners, and I've named all of you, myself, the business manager at CTE, the business manager in Leominster, the deputy commissioner in Fitchburg, and the fire chief and the police chief. There may be other individuals as we go through it, but right now those are the ones that I would think off the top of my head.
Yeah, the only other one I can think of, and I don't know if this be appropriate or not, is the Board of Health.
Okay. Yep, absolutely. The other one that we may want to do too is the water district.
Yeah.
So I will add those.
Okay.
Mike, you're mute. Mike Mackin, you're on mute. We can't hear you. You're muted. There you go.
I don't know why, it's trying to,
Oop, you're muted again, Mike.
Paula, could you unmute him from your end?
Okay, he's unmuted. I can ask to unmute, but I can't unmute.
Okay, Mike, you're all set.
am I all set?
Yep.
Okay. No, I was just, do we have any, does any of our lines that might, or any of our pump stations, which might have some spillage as part of this plan, have any proximity to waterways that would require us to talk about the DEP?
Yes, and actually, anytime there's a sewer system overflow, we need to contact the DEP, and there's actually a SSO form that needs to be completed, and it needs to go to a specific office, and I'll incorporate all those forms and instructions. But you brought up a good point. The other people that, in the event that we're near a wetland, we'd want to let conservation know.
Right.
But it looks
Yes.
great.
Is this being done in any other towns? Do we know? Or is this a
I'm
little,
sorry. I'm sorry.
has this been done in any other town?
I honestly don't know. I just got the template and have started because, you know, as John said, it was a little scary to find out that both pumps at Dana Street went down.
Yeah, no, good job.
Thank you.
Absolutely, good job.
Mr. Chair, I have another meeting I gotta go to, and I apologize for that. Stay on for a couple more minutes if you need a vote on anything.
Mr. Chair, can we jump to the IMA?
Yeah. Why don't we do that?
Thank you.
Paula, why don't you give a summary?
Well, honestly, I don't know how much detail we want to get into here.
Well,
We
yeah,
did-
I don't want to get into a lot of detail. I guess it's more, has everyone had a chance to see what Leominster is, their desire for the new rates? And
Yes.
new hookup charges? The rates are going up, the hookup charges are going up. Just need to make the public aware of that. And I think during the ARPA presentations, I did mention a couple times that rates would probably be going up again. So it's just getting the public aware that this is going to happen. You know, we don't know what the final number will be. And I'm hoping that we could continue to meet with Leominster, Dave and Mike and Bill, Paula and Heather, right?
Correct.
Met, and we're waiting for the next scheduled meeting right now, right, Paula?
Right, and Leominster has provided their proposed rate schedule.
Right.
And I guess Dave and Mike, I don't know if you want to get feedback from the board on their thoughts on the red line changes that we received, or if you guys want to just have another meeting and then come back to the board. As you all know, unfortunately, we cannot discuss this in executive session. So I'm just not sure how the negotiating team wants to
Right, I mean,
move forward.
Mike,
I would
Go ahead.
suggest.
go
I
ahead,
sit
Dave.
down with Paula and go through that, and we're starting to slow down. And Mike and I can work out a time to come and see you, and
Okay.
again, it's tough because of the open meeting law, which we follow, so. But I also think that you should send any information you have out now, Mr. Chair, have Paula put it in the package so everybody can review it and give their comment. Paula,
I have sent it out.
She has done that, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I
She
did-
sent the red lined IMA that Leominster marked up, and then she did a summary chart of
yeah,
the
I just,
number.
is that today, Paula, or you said that out today or yesterday?
I sent the IMA out when we received it, but then I also sent it out with the packet, and then I sent it out with the packet as well. But it's been out a couple times, so you should all have it. If you don't, let me know. But the other thing I sent out today, and I'm hoping all of you guys will take a look at and let me know if there are any errors or your thoughts on it, is I put together a worksheet to take a look at what the impact of these rate increases from both Fitchburg and Leominster will do. And looking at our income and our operating costs, beyond, our user fees, our user charges to Fitchburg and Leominster, and that's all in that worksheet. Because you are going to have to start talking about a rate increase. And I think we wanna play with those numbers, so that worksheet gives you the ability to change percentages and to see what that impact is gonna do to homeowners, to both homeowners and businesses. I separated out that cost. And then obviously this is based on average usage, and I use the most recent numbers that we have. So if you guys all want to take a look at that spreadsheet, and then when we get to talking about it, and again, if anybody sees something that needs to be corrected, please let me know. But you know, we're definitely going to have to increase our connection charges. Our connection charges right now are 2,000. If Leominster goes up where they want to be, obviously we're going to need to increase that. And additionally, you know, the rates definitely are going to have to go up.
You know, Paul, I think every citizen at home should understand that we've been trying to maintain a low rate for our citizens. I know that we learned a lot during the Aqua Money event, and we are considered by the Board of Selectmen a enterprise fund. And that they even said, you know, if you have a problem, you got to raise the rents, raise the rates. And I still feel that together we can try to work this and keep the rates under control for everybody. But Fitchburg and Leominster are going up. That's the fact that Leominster had a big, Leominster Fitchburg had a big news release a couple of weeks ago, if you want to go look at it in the Sentinel, about why they're going up. So we are going to try to work. I just want to show the people that we are going to try to work the rates, and there will be an increase. And hopefully we'll try to keep it under control. But while we're on that subject, you might want to send Leominster an email and ask them how their infrastructure is during all these floodings. Do we anticipate any problems with our flows going to Leominster?
Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to Jake. I didn't want to try to do it today because of what
Today's
we're
not good.
dealing with. I didn't think today would be a good option. But I definitely want to reach out to them and see what the impacts were and any potential debt service that we're gonna need to absorb. So I definitely will do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, we know Leominster's going through a hard time right now.
Yeah, as I was watching Main Street past Hamilton
Yes,
as a river last
Yeah.
night, I was wondering how far down below the surface the sewerage is, because I think that's where ours goes.
Mr. Chair, I was gonna call you today. I saw those live shots on it this one. And I'm a little worried. I mean, hopefully they're deep enough, but didn't they just redo that whole intersection?
Yeah, they did.
It's kind of like crappy that it has to be redone. They should have
Right.
used killer that Bill did up at the Hickory Hills. I think that would have stopped the problem. But my opinion. All right, Mr. Chair, with that, if you don't mind, I would have to leave. And I want to thank everybody. And again, my prayers go out to Jane and her family.
All right, thanks, Dave.
See you, Dave.
Hey, Dave.
Hey, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Guys, be good. Bye, Bill.
Any other comments regarding the IMA?
So I
No.
would just ask that if people review it and send me any comments so that I can forward them, don't reply all, send them to me and I will get them to, I will compile them and get them to Mike and Dave.
Okay. All right, and going back to the previous item, which would have been the ARPA funding manhole repairs. Paula sent out, you know, the priority list of the manholes we'd like to work on. What I don't know yet, and I don't think Bill or Paul, I don't think you do either, is, you know, it sounded like the selectmen were going to give us some money. It's also a question as to, you know, when we would get that money. We obviously still need to work on manholes, but I don't want to do an overly aggressive project anticipating that we're going to get money and then there's a delay or there's a change. Because I don't think we know when we're going to be getting it yet. Is that correct?
Bill, do you wanna?
Well, it looks like the money has been allocated. They gave us a total. For the amount of money, we have to put out a contract, so, it'll take a little while to put out a contract, so if there are any hiccups in getting the money, we do have some time. That's probably take us a month or two to get something out, so. This
Okay.
time, as far as I know, that money is available and ready to spend.
Right, the town manager did send out an email today, advising all the departments of what the allocations were based on the vote. So, we were given $100,000 to address manholes, and as Bill said, we will have to do an IFB. So that is gonna take some time, writing that up and getting that out. But I did send an email message to the town manager asking, when she thought that money would be available. I haven't had a reply yet, but as soon as I do, I will let the commission know.
Okay, so Bill and Paul, it sounds like probably should go ahead and develop an RFP. Okay, now you're gonna have to remind me, do we need to vote on that for you to start that process? I don't think so.
Mr. Chairman, question before that?
Yes, sure.
So the list had almost more than $250,000 of needs.
Mhm.
How are we going to figure out the priority with $100,000?
So that's gonna definitely be a question for you guys to address. We targeted Mass Ave in the ARPA funding. And a number of repairs were done recently. We were able to address at least the roadway, making the manholes flush with the roadway and addressing any of that structure. But I want to go back to some of those and make sure that any interior repairs were corrected. So Bill and I will go through that list and make sure there's no additional work to do on the ones that have been brought to grade. And then, there are a couple areas that are priority. Richards Way, which is right off of Mass Ave. We had two of the DPW personnel went out and inspected all of the manholes on Mass Ave and then highlighted the ones that they thought were really critical. They addressed the ones from a roadway perspective, but they did investigate. So everything that's on the list for Mass Ave is an issue. And we had informed the selectmen that we would be addressing Mass Ave and roads directly off of Mass Ave as our first priority. So I think that has to be our first priority. Bill, I don't know if you would.
Oh, I agree, yeah.
Yeah, Mike, in part to answer your question, I don't remember, was it 2016 or 2017? Every single manhole in town was investigated by Wright Pierce, and they developed a priority. And just because you drive over a manhole and your car bumps doesn't mean that is a really bad I&I problem. It has a lot of visibility, obviously. So the original priority list starts with that, and then Bill and Paula know which ones have been repaired, and they know how to work the list. So, but that report, there's a copy of it over at the DPW if you ever think you might want to take a look at it. But Paul has also sent out a priority list, which is based off of that report. So
If I can make a comment on the whole thing, we have an antiquated system. We need an influx of money. This was an opportunity. I believe we got about a quarter of what we asked for. I had just personally would like to say I wish the town had taken the problem a little more seriously and considered giving us more money towards this project, because now we're in a pot where we've got I&I issues, we've got everything going on. These manholes have to be fixed, and whether we got to go into our own funds or whatever, and it's going to reflect on the rate increases. I just wish that.
exactly.
I just wish the town, the selectmen had taken this issue a little more serious as far as our aspect of it, we could use some help right now, and we got some help, not about a quarter of it.
Well,
Right.
this is real
And I'll leave it at
infrastructure.
that. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, it is definitely real infrastructure. That's,
And I just want to, if I can, Mr. Chairman, I just want to add to that. One of the things that the commission had requested was 250,000, I believe, or was it 300,000, Bill? For the pump stations.
300,000.
300,000. And that's money that is really needed to, as Mike Mackin said a little while ago, to bring the stations up to snuff.
Right.
You know, we really do need to do some capital planning, and as you all know, we're working on that, and I'm looking forward to getting more information from CTE when they're done with their inspections. But you know, there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and with the rising costs of our suppliers, you know, it's going to be very difficult to raise that money and to keep putting the money into the system without seriously impacting the ratepayers.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna affect the rate increase a lot, unfortunately, because there's a lot of work to be done. With pretty much just what we got coming in to deal with, and that's it, so.
Right, right.
And trying to keep our costs at bay and reasonable for our customers is hard enough as it is. And yeah, this money would go a long way to helping us take care of our customers and make our system dependable. While I have the floor, Mr. Chairman, is there anything else you need from me? I have to leave in about 2 minutes to head to the select board meeting.
No, I don't think there's anything else that we would be voting on tonight. So
Okay.
enjoy the
just-
select board meeting.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. You have a great night. Great job, everybody. Paula, thank you for everything you're doing. I'll look forward to seeing you all in a couple of weeks.
All right, night, Brett.
Good night, Brett.
Good night,
Take
Good
care.
night, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, the next item is on the agenda is the town meeting articles.
Just want to
Yes.
let you know that they've been submitted. You know, town council has suggested some possible modification to the wording of our regulations. But that's not going to be ready for special town meeting. So I've submitted the two that have to be done at special town meeting.
Okay. The business managers report, Paula.
I had sent out, as John talked about earlier, we had a couple of alarms at Dana Street. I'm tracking every time CTE is coming out and what they're doing. And I'll be sending those reports to you every meeting, just to give you guys an overview of what's happening with the system. So that has gone out, and anything that on the report that you see that's highlighted in yellow is an alarm. You will see some things that aren't alarms, but I'll be sending those out before every meeting. As I said earlier, Albie and the subcontractor for the generators are going to be in town tomorrow to tour the stations, and they're going to be looking at all the generators. So next is the inventory and acquisition of pumps and rebuild kits. We have 3 pumps in storage. Albie and I and John went up to the storage shed. We have 3 in storage. We did install a new vacuum pump at Mass One, and we also purchased a spare pump for that location. And CTE has rebuilt the vacuum pumps at 6 of the stations. It was costly. The cost for that work, for the pump, the spare pump and the rebuilding with the rebuild kits, was $10,281.27. So I will be submitting that invoice for payment. But I wanted you to be aware that it was a substantial amount of money. Line jetting, Clean Basins is up and running again, and they are going to be jetting. And Bill, do you have any idea of when?
I I don't have a date, but he did say soon, and he did say he could send 2 trucks so we can get it done quickly.
Okay, good.
Mm.
Okay, the exterior maintenance of the pump stations, John and I, during the IFB process, we visited several of the stations and there's always a lot of overgrowth occurring. And that has been, we hired Katie Forrester to go out and take care of some of that. And I just want to note that she's doing, her and her crew are doing an absolutely amazing job. So I just wanted you guys to be aware of that. They are not done yet, but she hopes to be done within the next week or two. I do have a couple before and after pictures if anybody's interested. I will tell you that the Dana Street station looks fantastic. And the gates will be all operational at the end of the maintenance. And I can send out a couple of those before and after pictures to everybody. Assistant to the sewer business manager position, we did receive several resumes. We have one interview set up for Thursday. And I'll be reaching out. I have left messages for all of the other candidates, so hopefully we'll have at least a couple of people coming in for interviews. And that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Okay. I'm just wondering if it might be appropriate to bring up Il Forno. That might be stretching the agenda a little too much.
Yeah,
I'll hold off on that.
Yeah, I think we'll probably put that on the next agenda.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions for Paula or Bill? Seeing none. Any public comment from the commissioners? No, any public comment from the sewer department? And I don't think anyone else has joined us, right? No, okay. The upcoming meeting schedule, we decided at the last meeting to not have one on October 25th or whatever.
31st.
31st, okay.
Trick or treat.
Trick or treat.
So
And
so our next meeting is the 26th.
right, and as far as agenda items, let's keep the emergency response plan on and probably have the IMA on there on a regular basis until that's completed.
Okay.
But any other comments from anyone? No? Does someone want to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion about that? No? Let's take a vote. Mike Mackin,
Sure. Aye.
Mike Nault,
Aye.
and I for myself. The meeting is concluded. Thank you all.
Thank you all. Thank
Night,
you, Paula.
Bloomberg.
Thank you. All right. Good night, everybody.
Night.
Night.
Right.